Hello Rockstars, this is Mr. Benoit with a general video on decoding error messages in Python, specifically Code High School Introduction to Python with Tracy the Turtle, but you'll see these type of messages in lots of versions of Python, and it's kind of common. So I have some code on the left, and I'm going to go through 4 or 5 different types of errors that can be a little bit tricky to understand from the message and how to figure them out. So I have this code. Actually, most of it's in comments. Only 3 lines are real. And number 1, I'm missing a closing parentheses here on line 5. Now that might be obvious here, but if you have something that is like, size equals integer of input of how big would you like it, right? You may not notice that you're missing a parentheses, and you'll have that same error there, right? So let me we'll run that code, right? And look, the error is all the way down here on 17, and it's like, well, what's the problem down here? So if you see an error message that is on a line that looks perfectly fine, sometimes what you need to do is look up and find the last line of code above it and see if there's something missing there. Because quite often if there's something missing on a line of code, you only get the error on the next line of code, right? So you're not going to get the error on line 6 or 7. You're going to get the error the next time it might be a line of code. And that's actually down here with these 3 quotes, which they're saying is a multi-line comment. Okay, so if I fix that, if I add the parentheses and runs it, okay, it runs okay. It's asking me a question I can answer. Okay, so I'm now going to comment that out and comment that one back in, and we'll see what error message gets there for a missing quote. Look, oh, parse error, bad token on line 8, right? So input is a function, and it's saying, right, and so functions, we always give them something in parentheses, but it's never getting the second parentheses because this is starting a string and we never ended it, right? There's no second quote. So, right, so this error message here doesn't really tell me any of that. It just tells me, go look at line 8, what could possibly be wrong? There's a missing quote there, and now it works. What would you like? Type in anything. Okay, so that one works now. I'm going to comment that out. Let's see what happens if you're missing a colon at the end of inline. So here, bad input on line 12. So at least this time it gave us the right line, but it's not telling us, it's not giving us a useful example of what's wrong. So on here, I stare at the line and think, well, it kind of looks okay. Oh, maybe it's missing the colon. Let's try that. The name true is not defined. I thought true was with a lowercase. Oh, it's with a capital T. Let's try that. Okay, right now that's a silly if condition, if true, but you can always, in any place that it's going to evaluate something to be true or false, you can always just type in true or false to see what, to see if that's the problem or not. Okay, so one thing for me that I remember in Python is that whenever you're going to do a block of code, right, and the next stuff is going to be indented, the line before it always needs to have a colon, right? And so that colon is telling Python to expect a block of code after. And so if you get an error message relating to the start of a block of code, it's almost always because either you didn't have a colon or there's something screwy with your indentation. Okay, so I'm going to copy this one out, or comment that one out, run this code, right? That code's fine. So this multi-line comment here is fine. This multi-line comment down here right now is fine. I'm going to go to one of their exercises for me doing code. If I get this much information that I have to keep in mind while I'm writing something, I want to copy it and I want to paste it into the top of my program. Right? So normally I would start a program like this. Right? And then I would come down here and I would start doing my coding, right? Speed 5, forward 10, left 90, and I would go to run it. Oh, that is a real error. Sorry, let's try that again. Error line 2, syntax error, invalid string, possibly contains a Unicode character on line 2. Well, Unicode. Now, I know what Unicode is. A lot of you guys may not know what Unicode is. Unicode is a way of having lots and lots and lots of characters, more than just the standard A through Z, lowercase, uppercase. You get characters for other languages, Spanish and Cyrillic and Chinese and Arabic, and they all have lots of different things they can do, but Python doesn't support them. Python really only wants A through Z, numbers, and a few symbols. So here it is, and it's almost in stuff you paste in from Code High School. It's almost always a apostrophe or a pair of quotes. That is quote, quote, smart. It's these pretty ones that look like they have more curve to them. So if I get rid of that one, let me show you. Whoops, I didn't mean to get rid of it. So that's the pretty one, and this is the standard one. So this is a Unicode apostrophe. It's a prettier apostrophe that's nice in word processing and stuff, and programming languages don't understand it. If I run it now, looks like maybe I have another one. Let me, where would that be? So one thing to do to find it is just kind of search and replace. It worked now, so that means it's in some place in this code, in the code that I cut out, right? So I can just keep cutting out half of it to get me closer to where it is, right? That's working again. So I can paste it back in, cut out this half, run it, that's working. So it must be in this half. Oh, there it is. There's another apostrophe that I missed. If I go fix that one, now it works. Okay, so those darn little Unicode apostrophes and Unicode quotes, right? If sometimes it's a pair of double quotes, and if you look at them closely, they have nice curves to them. While if you just type in a pair of double quotes here, right? They're the same at the beginning and the end of the word, and Python will run fine with that. The problem is when they're those special ones. So that's kind of the last error that is super unobvious. If you guys run into other errors that you can't figure out, drop me a conversation in Code High School, send me an email, leave me a comment, and I will try to help, help you figure it out and show you what to think about if you see these error messages that don't make sense. That's it. Keep being awesome. You guys can do this. I know you can, and I will talk to you later.